Welcome, welcome. I know we have a few others who will probably join this call, but what we're going to go ahead and do is get started so that we can make the most out of our hour here. So I'm so glad that you were able to join us this evening. We're coming to you this evening from our office in Bossier City, Louisiana. As Sylvie had put in the chat that she is in Seattle, Washington, so that's a long way off. But I just want to take a moment to introduce myself. I'm Charlene. I'm the one that emailed you this morning, and I've been a curriculum development specialist with cyber.org for almost 3 years now. Just a quick background, I have over 20 years of experience as a former teacher and instructional coach, and I truly love that I'm still able to provide support to teachers here at cyber.org. I'm joined this evening by Linda Morgan, and I'll let Linda take a moment to introduce herself.
Hey guys, my name is Linda Morgan. I am with cyber.org for 3 months now. Super excited to be here working on curriculum. I have 14 years of experience in the classroom, a lot of it teaching computer science. So I'm thrilled to be able to help write lessons that will get you guys excited about teaching computer science and cybersecurity in your classrooms.
Thanks, Linda. And Linda is going to monitor our chat, so please feel free to drop your questions there. We also have Brandon Sally, who is going to be observing our PD this evening. And Linda has put our emails into the chat. So I do hope that you'll feel comfortable reaching out to us after this PD. If you have any questions about curricula or anything that we've gone over, even if it's tomorrow, next week, or next month, we would love to hear from you. And so now you know a little bit about our team and you know that we are in Louisiana, but what about cyber.org? So at cyber.org, our vision is to build a future where the nation's cybersecurity needs are met by a knowledgeable, skilled, and a passionate workforce. And we believe that classroom teachers are essential to this process. And since the majority of our team is made up of former classroom teachers, we truly know and understand the impact that a classroom teacher can have. All of our work, our professional development, our curricula are all funded through CISA, and that stands for the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. And that is all available to K-12 teachers in the United States at no cost. And we have trained 19,000 teachers since 2015. And this is a snapshot of some of that feedback. And it's so exciting to us that you are now part of our tremendous growth around the country. So our goal for the rest of this hour is to introduce you to our newest course, which we're really excited about, Cybersecurity Basics. We're going to focus specifically on lessons and activities for elementary students, so kindergarten through 5th grade. And then at the end of the PD, we're going to visit our learning management system. This is where we house all of these great lessons and show you just how easy it is to access them. So we're going to start with an opportunity for you to collaborate in a breakout room. Since we're a smaller group, we'll put you all into one breakout room together. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a Jamboard and start by answering 2 questions. So our first question is, what are you and or your school district already doing to make your students more aware of cybersecurity? And the second question, to me, cybersecurity is blank. And just some suggestions there, exciting, overwhelming, needed, relevant, but we really want to hear your thoughts on this. So like I said, we're going to go into a breakout room and use a Jamboard. And so for this Jamboard, Linda has put the link into the chat. You'll see that it has part 1, and you can go to this little arrow right here, and that will take you to that slide and one more, and then you'll know you've gone too far and you're done when you get to part 2. But what you can do here is there are little sticky notes. You just click on this. It's the fourth one down. And I'm just going to write test on this, save, and then it will post your sticky note and you can move that around. So we're going to give you about 5 minutes to talk in your breakout room and answer these questions on these slides, and just put your thoughts on sticky notes and put them on these two slides here. I want to make sure before we put you into breakout rooms that everyone can access this Jamboard. So Linda has put that link into the chat. For those of you just joining us, we are coming back from a breakout room, and they have just a few seconds before we bring everyone back in. But we're so glad that you're here with us this evening.
Thank you so much. I was looking forward to it. I was like, I can't believe it's 6:10. I'm out in a rural area, so I had a little hard time connecting with my phone, but I'm so glad I'm here.
Yeah, we're so glad you're able to make it, Della. Welcome.
Meeting is being recorded.
You can finish your sentence, G. Davis. You muted, sir.
Unmute. Yeah. So I mean, the idea is even high school kids really don't know to what extent their lives are vested in an internet that functions, whether it's their cars, their light bulbs, how gasoline gets to their house, supply chains, groceries. And then again, we start to talk, as you do, about how hackers or malicious actors can either break things or steal things.
Yeah, pretty much making them relate to it, to realize that it is important to them because they are part of it. They are the people, they are an actor in that world.
Yeah, hospitals, grocery stores, their families, their loved ones.
Yeah.
All of these things are adversely affected when, you know, our infrastructure goes down, our cyber structure goes down, I think. And so I'm kind of fighting a lone battle to.
It sounds like you guys had a great conversation in your breakout rooms.
Yeah, the big analogy that I give them is like, your parent taught you to cross the street safely. They taught you to swim safely, but we give you a video game station that is connected to the internet, a smartphone, a tablet, a computer, and we just take you and throw you in the digital pool saying, good luck, have fun.
Mm-hmm. And I see this note here. To me, cybersecurity is intriguing, exciting, in demand, necessary, and all of those things. Absolutely. And thank you for sharing your thoughts on this important topic. I think this is so important, especially for students now. I was just telling my coworkers last week that I didn't even receive my first email address until I was in college working on my undergrad degree. And in contrast, my son, he was given his first email address when he was in kindergarten. And so it's so important that we're able to make our students aware of cybersecurity, especially in these early educational years.
But isn't it like a bit of, I don't know, a point of contention? Because for the longest time, we used to say that children under 12 to 14 years old should not be allowed to have social media, email, and all these things. Then now we have school starting kindergarten, they have email. And I'm like,
Yes.
aren't we contradicting ourselves there?
Yeah, I think as they're in these early years, preparing them for things like social media, giving them a safe place to practice using the internet, using these technology tools when they're in elementary school, leading up into that is really important. And go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things, you know, we talk about when we talk about the history of the internet is that it was built on a trust model, and we, you know, particularly younger kids and even high school kids still function on a trust model. And so we spend a lot of time talking about, we talk about, you know, brute force hacking, but we also talk about phishing. And, I spend a lot of time talking about phishing and the opportunities, whether it's just a simple phishing account or, or a spear phishing attempt, how quite often it's not a brute force attempt, although sometimes it is if it's a state actor that somebody gains your stuff, but what they do is they gain your trust. And
Mhm.
they seem to be somewhat surprised and hurt by that, to be honest. But
Oh,
that somebody
mhm.
would spoof an email address or a phone number or a text. And
Yes. Yeah. And so the screen that you're seeing right now is the courses that you are going to receive access to. And for the remainder of this PD, we're going to focus on our newest course, which is Cybersecurity Basics. And this course is an introductory course for students in grades kindergarten through 8. And this course introduces cybersecurity topics that affect our everyday life in plain, simple language, making it accessible to all. Plus, these lessons can be taught in any order and by any teacher. So this course is divided into 2 domains. Our lessons are either going to fall under the security domain or digital citizenship. And so lessons in the security domain are going to explore the various ways that we protect data and information through people, processes, and technology. We also look at the types of attacks that must be defended against and the concepts that are used to secure information networks as well as physical assets. And then digital citizenship explores how our actions affect the larger digital world, and we look at ethics and laws. And so we're going to start looking at a lesson from the digital citizenship domain. And so what you're looking at right now, this is the cover page that you see on every single one of our cybersecurity basics lessons. These are the teacher notes, and we'll take a closer look at all these different components that are on this page. And so we've zoomed in a little bit here. We're on that same page. And so first we have the domain that that lesson belongs in. And remember, those 2 domains are either going to be security or digital citizenship. This one is digital citizenship. And then next we have the cybersecurity bundle topic, which is digital footprint. Here we have the title, A Digital Step in the Right Direction. Each lesson also has a focus question that is used to guide the lesson. And then in the overview section, you're going to see a quick 1 to 2 sentence summary of the lesson along with lesson objectives. Our lessons in Cybersecurity Basics are split into 3 grade divisions. We have K2 lessons, 3-5 lessons, and 6-8 lessons. And it's really important to note that grade level designation only appears on the teacher notes. So any content that is forward facing for students will not have grade levels on it, because you may decide that your 4th graders are ready for a middle school lesson, or your middle school students might need an elementary lesson to get them started. So there aren't any grade level designations on PowerPoints or any student documents. We also have the approximate time required to teach the lesson. K2 lessons are written to take 15 to 20 minutes. 3-5 lessons are written to take 30 to 45 minutes. And then our 6-8 lessons are written to take 45 to 60 minutes. We specifically point out cyber connections within the lesson, and also it's really important to us that we tie in a cybersecurity career to start building that career awareness. All of our lessons support our cybersecurity standards, and the lesson resources are right here at the beginning. So you can immediately see what you need to have ready beforehand. We have worked really hard to make sure that we use materials that are easy for you to source. We want to make sure that these aren't things that are going to be expensive either. And then we have teacher background, which is information to help support you throughout the lesson, and then a section for cyber terms, terms that students might be unfamiliar with. Oh, yes, Robert, we can share this recording with you. And also at the end of this PD, probably tomorrow morning or maybe even this evening, I'm going to send you an email. It will have a PDF in it that will have kind of a summary of what we talked about, the names of the lessons, and all of the links that you'll need. So I know sometimes I've struggled to make sure I'm trying to write it down and pay attention, but I'll follow up with you with that. And then you'll notice here each part of the lesson has a puzzle piece icon, and these pieces come together at the end of the lesson to help answer that really important focus question. Each lesson has a PowerPoint, so you'll see display slide number, and you can see also that these lessons are scripted. This is there as a guide. It's not a must say by any means, but just suggestions if they're needed. We've also included possible student answers in that reddish orange color. And then inside the teal box is a teacher note that can help you so that lesson can run smoothly. And then to conclude the lesson, for all of our lessons, we have a putting it all together section, and you'll see that the puzzle pieces have all come together there. This is the final wrap up, and we have kind of wrap up questions there. And then also optional extension activities if you want to expand the lesson and extend your time on the topic. So those are all of the components that you're going to find in every single one of our cybersecurity basics lessons. Okay, so I'm really excited for us to get to this first lesson here. And this is a digital step in the right direction. You've been looking at all of the teacher notes for this so far. And this is a 3-5 lesson, and that focus question, how am I leaving a digital footprint? And so to start this lesson, we ask teachers to make copies of a footprint template on colored paper. And we suggest making some footprints green and then making some footprints blue. And then prior to the start of the lesson, teachers can place the footprints just in various places around the classroom. And we start the lesson by asking, what types of information do footprints give us? What do they tell us? And so I've tried to recreate this the best that I can. And in this picture, you'll see some green footprints. And of course, we're going to ask students, what type of information do the footprints give us? And what can you tell about the person who left the footprints? And so what we're looking for are answers such as, well, we can tell that they were by the teacher's desk or they were by the computer. And here are the blue footprints. And this really looks like the person was floating. But with the blue footprints, you can tell, maybe they were around student centers, or if you have a class pet, maybe the person was there. And we really focus on the fact that even though we couldn't see the person, we knew where they were in our classroom just based on the footprints that they left behind. And so we start with asking when you're online, or start by discussing when you're online, you leave a digital footprint. And a digital footprint leaves little pieces of information behind. And so we move into this discussion on how do you think you create your own digital footprint? What are things you do online that would leave pieces of information about you behind? And you create your own digital footprint based on the sites you visit online, pictures you post, things you search for, and comments that you make. And again, this is our 3-5 lesson. So we really want for students to start thinking about what they might do online. If they're playing games online, things that they're doing at school, how are they starting to contribute this idea of a digital footprint? And so now that we have students thinking about how they're making that digital footprint, we want for them to start to consider if the footprint is positive or if it's negative. And this lesson has examples for students to consider in a card sort. And so we're going to look at these examples together now, but we're going to use our reaction options. to show if we think it's positive or negative. So probably at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see the reactions. It looks like a smiley face. And when you click on the reactions, then you'll have some options there. And so if we think that this is an example of being positive online, we'll use a heart reaction. And if we think it's an example of being negative online, we'll use that kind of surprised reaction. Let's look at this first one together. So for this first example, you're playing an online game and you're not winning. You start to type mean comments in the chat about other players. So do we think this is an example of being positive or negative? I see some examples. Yeah, being negative. Our second one, you use your school email to send your friend 10 emails in a row of funny emojis. And I share this one, and I will share this with you. This was something that my son did get in trouble for. So, of course, very young, he gets an email address, and he loves all the emojis that he can find, and decides that he just wants to send all email messages with that. And so he quickly realized that was not a wise thing to do. Okay, and our next one, you are playing an online game and read unkind comments in the chat about another player. You typed in that chat that those comments aren't cool and you reported it. It's positive. I see some positive reactions there. For the fourth example, you use an online search engine to find the teacher key to cheat for your homework. Yeah, negative, not a great choice to do. And then this last one here, almost last one. You use your school email to politely ask your teacher for a copy of the assignment when you are absent. I need some hearts. That's an example of being positive online. And then this is our last example here. You use an online search engine to find public instructions for robot builds to help your team. And seeing some hearts, yeah. That would be an example of being positive online. So we have students talking about each of these different examples and whether or not those are examples of being positive online or being negative online. And then we go back and revisit those footprints that we had earlier in the classroom. So remember those blue footprints? So they were left by a student named Ruby, and we did put in the notes, we selected the name Ruby, but if that would be something that is of concern for you in your classroom, then you would have the full ability to change the name here. But when Ruby was in 4th grade, she made mean comments in a chat on an online game and was kicked out of the game. Another student became frustrated when Ruby sent her 10 emails in a row that only contained emojis, and that student told the teacher. Because of that decision, Ruby was not able to use her email anymore. And then Ruby moved to another state in the 5th grade, and she tried to join that online game again, but her digital footprint followed her, and she was not allowed to play any games on her account. When the new school learned that Ruby's email was taken away, they also saw that she used the search engine on her account to find answers for her homework. So do you think that Ruby was creating a negative or a positive digital footprint? And you can use those reactions, yeah. So Ruby was creating a negative digital footprint, and it left pieces of information behind that she could not get rid of. The other set of footprints, the green footprints, belong to Stephen. And when Stephen was in the 4th grade, he stood up for another gamer in an online game chat by telling others their comments weren't cool and reporting that to the teacher. He used the school email to politely request missing assignments, and use the search engine appropriately for school. So in contrast, Stephen was creating a positive digital footprint. And we discussed with students that the digital footprint creates that really important online reputation. Uh, even though we couldn't see what Ruby was doing when she left those footprints in the classroom, the blue footprints, we're more likely to believe that she was doing something negative. And so now we might worry if she was around the teacher's desk or around the class pet or around the computers. And so it's important for students to be aware of this when they make decisions online. And so this says Jamboard Part 2. We're actually going to skip this section of the Jamboard. I'm going to explain what you would have done here, and what students do is they have an opportunity now to look at those examples of contributing to the negative digital footprint, and instead they turn it into a positive digital footprint. So what decision could have been made there to turn that into something positive? And then, as I mentioned earlier, all of our grades 3 through 5 and 6 through 8 lessons are going to feature a career profile. And so the cyber career profile that's featured in this lesson is a cybercrime investigator. And a cybercrime investigator is a cybersecurity professional who can identify, collect, and seize evidence to include digital media and logs associated with cyber incidents, investigations, and operations. And so that was the 3-5, just a really quick summary of that lesson. In the K2 lesson, that is named Good and Bad Online Behavior. And in this lesson, students explore how different actions when using technology online can create the first steps of their positive or negative digital footprint. And so what they do here, you'll see this image of a foot, and this is a fun activity. They trace their footprint, or they can use a provided template and draw examples of what they do online. And so we are going to do this part of the Jamboard. This is part 3. And we're going to put everyone still back into the same breakout room. And think of what you do online and write that on a sticky note and put the sticky note inside the foot. So we're looking at how you might create your own digital footprint. So Linda has put that link back into the Jamboard. And this time, when you go into the Jamboard, because of time, we're going to go straight into part 3, and we'll just do about 5 minutes for this here. Are there any questions before we send you back? Okay, Linda, ready? And so that was a quick summary of our K2 and 3-5 digital footprint lessons. And to keep us on track with time, I would like to go ahead and show you a K2 and 3-5 example from our security domain. And this one that we're going to look at right now is on layered security. And at the K2 level, we focus on physical security and looking at how we keep things safe. Students identify measures in and around their school and give examples of ways to verify a person's identity. And the slides that you're looking at as I'm talking about these lessons, these are the slides that are included with the lesson. And the slides in K2 are very simple. We don't put words on them because we don't want for our K2 students to focus on trying to sound out the words, and then they're not listening to what the teacher's saying. So we put very simple pictures. And in this picture here, we ask students to look at it and notice ways that we keep our school safe. And so things that that are in the picture, they might notice, we have a crosswalk to keep the school safe. We have a fence to keep the school safe. All of these are important things, and you're free to edit these PowerPoints as well. So if you would like to add a picture of your own school, that's great. And that can make that even more relevant for students. And so in this picture, we have things that are outside the school as the first way to keep things safe. And then we go into the school and look at what else we have. We had the fence outside, and now going into the school, we have locked doors. We see that we have cameras, and then another door going into the classroom that's usually locked. And so what we're doing is we're building on this idea that you may not enter and that we have layers of security at our own schools. And at this point, we want for the teacher as an activity to walk students around the school and notice all the different types of security that they see. And so, if your students need a break, it's great to get them up and get them moving. But if you're trying to tie this topic in and you don't have a lot of time, then you can do this, on your way to enrichment or on your way to lunch, and any other time when you're in the hallway, you are able to make that work for you and for your schedule. And we look at inside the classrooms, we keep certain items secure, like laptops and tablets especially. Or maybe in your classroom, there's a locked drawer or a file cabinet. And so we have a locked cabinet that's inside a classroom that's usually locked inside a locked school building. And so that's 3 layers of security right there that stop someone from entering. And again, like with the picture of your own school, we would encourage you to add any pictures of your own that students would already be familiar with. And we also talk about visitors to the school. So there are procedures that visitors have to follow. We trust that the person is there to pick up the student, but then we also need to verify. And so our kindergarten through 2nd grade students have a matching activity that focuses on trusting but verifying. And students work together in small groups to match the picture of the person with the picture of what they use at work that tells us who they are. And we have here the taxi cab driver would need a driver's license. The police officer has a badge. And we know that at the 2nd grade level, we can start talking with students about which of these credentials is going to be more secure. We know that a driver's license is going to give a name, an address, and even more information, and that you have to go somewhere to get that license. And so that's going to be more secure than the backstage pass, for example. And the extension for this activity in kindergarten through 2nd grade is lost and found. Often we trust that if you lost something, but we have to have you verify that it's yours by asking you what it looks like, or is there a PIN code you can put into your tablet to make sure that it is indeed yours. And then moving up to the 3rd through 5th grade lesson in this bundle, we have layered security. And the title of this lesson is Protecting People, Places, and Things. And we actually start with a discussion on castles and how castles provide protection. And we get students to really think about how we use physical tools to secure items today. And this picture here, which shows locks on school lockers. And students work in groups. They're given a card with the picture and the name of a security tool that is used today, and they see how the security tool they were given can be used to protect people, places, and things. And they also discuss where that security tool could be used. Could it be used at home? Could it be used at school or in other public places? And so these are the security tools that are on the cards. And in these images, you're going to see things like motion detectors, fingerprint door entry, security cameras, a fence, bollards, and then a security guard. And then the activity here, we have a chance for students to be really creative in this fun activity. where students are able to select an exhibit at the Smithsonian National Science Museum in DC. So they go on this type of virtual field trip and they view the exhibit and they look at security tools that are already there to keep the artifacts safe and take special note of different tools being used and the level of protection it provides. So for example, they can look at the Hope Diamond and look at the type of security that's there. It's fully enclosed versus this picture here of the elephant that's not fully enclosed. And then the assignment is for them to create a plan for the museum to make the exhibit safer by listing security tools that aren't currently being used. And the extension for this activity is to defend a castle with modern technology. That one's a lot of fun. And then the Cyber Career Spotlight for this lesson is different from the other one. And this is a cybersecurity engineer, and the engineer is a professional who creates new ways to solve existing production security issues with security tools. And so those cyber career profiles are really great. And we want to make sure that we show you where you can access them. Like I said, they are included in all of our 3.5 and 6.8 lessons, but we also have them available to you on our website. And so, like I said, tomorrow morning, I'm going to send you an email that has these links. I saw Linda put that in the chat for you. But if you go to our website, cyber.org, you can click on Career Explorations, and it's the first link that you can click on. And we have 24 career profile cards that highlight different careers in cybersecurity. And at a glance on this page, you can see that it has the degree or the certification required along with job growth. And then, of course, what the students really want to know, that really important part is the salary. And then to the left there, we have some search options so they can see, what is required. And if you click on a card there, it's going to give you more information that includes common job duties and soft skills. And I think sometimes still we have this image in our minds of cybersecurity professionals and they're wearing a hoodie and they're sitting in a dark room and they're all alone on their computer. But many of these jobs also require skills like leadership and excellent communication. One of my coworkers has stopped referring to those skills as soft skills, and instead she calls them power skills. And I love that because I think she's absolutely right. And those power skills make a huge difference. And then if you click on download the card, you'll see that the information is in this format that can easily be printed out. I had a PD a few weeks ago. It was for high school teachers. And I loved it because in the back of the classroom, I could see for this one teacher's class, he had these printed out as posters and he had them all along the back wall of his room. And I loved it because I asked him about it. He said, oh yeah, and it's great because the kids love to, as soon as they're done, they want to get up and look at them in detail. And I thought that was just such a great display. And it looked really great in his room and his kids were using it. And so I love that. Okay, so back to curricula content. We could talk about our cyber career profile card all evening. We very quickly discussed some lessons, and now we want to make sure that you are able to access our lessons. So our learning management system is Canvas. Teachers, you are actually the students in our Canvas. Students are not able to access Canvas. It's not going to work with your Canvas at your school. We do not want to collect any PII or any information on students. But when you're in this Canvas account, you can download the materials that you need. You're going to receive access to all of our courses, and we are not going to charge you for it. We are not going to take it away. Our grant provides that for K-12 teachers in the United States, and that's a question that I get asked often is, okay, so is this only free for like 3 months, and then do I need to set a reminder to cancel? No, you don't have to do that. This content is available for you. And so in the email I sent you earlier, I put in there the link to sign up for access. And I see, thank you, Linda. She's put that into the chat. But you're going to click sign up and then answer a few questions. We do ask that you use your school email address if you can. That makes it easier for us to verify. And then it'll take about 24 to 48 hours before you receive approval. You'll receive that through your email. And then you'll go back to cyber.org, click login right there at the top, enter your credentials, and then you're in. And so this is a view of my Canvas page. It might look different than yours. I have put the 3 courses that I use the most often at the top, so you're able to move those tiles around. And the course, of course, that we talked about tonight is Cybersecurity Basics. So you'll click on Cybersecurity Basics, and then it's going to take you to this screen here. You'll see the 2 domains that we discussed, security and digital citizenship. And we'll look at how to access security first. So if you click on the word security, you'll notice also that if you click there, you'll be able to access the lessons under security. But in that upper left-hand corner, you see where it says like home, discussions, files. You don't have to click that. I put a big X there because that's going to take you to files, but it's so much easier to access the content this way. So don't click that. Instead, either click security or digital citizenship. And so you'll see the layered security bundle, and you'll click on that. And you'll be taken to all of our lessons on this bundle, K2, 3, 5, 6, 8, and you'll see the teacher notes. You click on that and you'll be able to download the teacher notes. Also, the slides are right underneath it. And I'm sure you noticed this, our team is super excited that you also have access to the teacher notes and slides in Spanish. And so we're working to do that with all of our content in Cybersecurity Basics as we have that written and available for you. But that's something that we're excited about, and you have access to that as well. And it's all right there together. And then if you click on digital citizenship, that's where you'll find the digital footprint lesson. And so right now we have 10 lessons in Cybersecurity Basics for K2, and we also have 10 lessons for 3-5. Okay, before I move on to EdCon, there's a lot of exciting things here to talk about, and I'm keeping an eye on the time. Do you have any questions for me about Cybersecurity Basics? And I'll let you think about that. Linda and I will stay on the call a little bit afterwards as well to answer any questions for you. But I do want to make sure I point out to you that in June 20th through June 22nd, our team will be in Mesa, Arizona for EdCon 23. This is our national conference. Linda has put a link in the chat for you on that. Early bird registration for this conference ends April 30th. It's $50 to attend the conference. And then other exciting news that we do have travel grants available for classroom teachers, and those travel grants are $750. And so that can help you with registration, airfare, hotel cost. This is a really great cybersecurity conference for educators, and we would love to see you there. We would love to meet you. And so that link is there in the chat. I'm going to send that to you tomorrow as well. And we would highly encourage you to complete the application for the travel grant. And then next steps here. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. You're going to receive another email from me with links. All of the information can be accessed at cyber.org. And then also your feedback is very important to us and the work that we do.